Welcome to Salaam Nerds Podcast. We do reviews and recaps of your favorite TV shows, movies, and current events.
Yo, it's the Salaam Nerds. My name is Rehan, aka Watch the Beat. I'm here by boy Chad.
We drop live episodes on YouTube on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you to all our supporters. Please help us by subscribing and leaving a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. All episodes can also be found everywhere podcasts are found.
Yo, Salaam Nerds. This is your boy Neebs, aka Watch with Neebs, and I'm here with my co-host Jeff, aka DJ. What are you wearing?
Dude, don't throw me earlier.
Ah, look at you. Looking all nice and spiffy, bro.
Normally I change when I get back, but you were like, oh, let's do it at 10:30 Eastern. And I'm like, oh, goddamn. So I rushed back, got the earliest Isha prayer at 8:40 p.m. here, did my 8 rakahs, and got out, and yeah.
And then no Yemeni coffee house afterwards?
Sadly, no. You just had to make the time 10:30 Eastern, huh?
Oh man, the Yemeni coffee place has a chokehold on us, and it's not a bad thing. I mess with it because number one, it decenters places with alcohol, and it decenters places that are supporting genocide, like Starbucks. So you know what? I am all for it. Everybody go there. Everybody support these Yemeni coffee shops. Do what you got to do. Men, women, everybody go there. There's the equal opportunity at these coffee houses.
Well, why don't we introduce our guest?
Let's introduce our guest. Welcome to the show, the Winter Soldier, Bucky.
Yes, thank you. Bucky Barnes, reporting for duty.
Look at you understanding the reference.
I've never seen a Captain America movie. I've just been told multiple times that there's a character named Bucky, and then he's like originally a villain, but then he decides to join the good side. And I think that fits with my story arc just generally too. Is that right?
You're
if that's
villain?
Just you.
He starts as
a fairly, yeah.
And then he joins the good side.
But are you a villain? That's the question.
I mean, I can get up to my shenanigans. I wouldn't say villain, but I think I'm a girl from the mean streets of Queens.
Is it me? Am I the villain? So you're pretty much right. Though the Winter Soldier was actually Captain America's best friend. In some iterations, he is the younger friend of his. In other iterations, he is the older friend of his. He gets into the army. Steve can't get in, but then he takes the super soldier serum. He gets buffed.
Bro.
And then Bucky ends up, dying. But he gets captured by the Russians.
Alert.
And then
Spoiler
yeah.
alert, memes.
The movie came out like 10 years ago. I'm sorry. It's your namesake. You should have known this by now.
No one has ever spoiled that for me. For years, people have been telling me, "Oh, like Bucky Barnes," and I'm like, "Yep."
No,
wow.
he did. He did.
Wow. But is it like one of those?
What the hell, man?
Is he? Oh, you guys will like this question. Is he dead in all the multiverses?
No,
No.
he's not.
See?
She's a nerd. Oh my god.
I like this side of you, Bucky. When I brought up the multiverse in my episode of Muslim Matchmaker, people think it's a reference to Endgame. It's not a reference to Endgame. It's a reference to Community. It's the darkest timeline. That's what I was referencing. I don't know people.
Yeah. Dude, that is such an underrated show. I gotta go back and rewatch Community. It just devolves and becomes so chaotic, but I feel like that's actually what we're living through right now.
Yeah, the darkest timeline.
Mm-hmm. What's one of my favorite episodes where the episode about Nicolas Cage? That's just one of the best pieces of television ever made. And honestly,
Is Nicolas Cage a good actor?
Exactly. It's crazy. It was so good.
Yo, can we just have Bucky on the show every weekend to just talk about movies? Forget this Muslim Matchmaker stuff. Bucky's just going to be the third member of our show.
Honestly, I'm not against it.
I'm not against it.
A strong... but no more diversity hires, so I don't know. You might get sued.
No more DEI.
No more... Yeah, you can't have a woman on here. It needs to be needs to be another Pakistani man to limit any diversity.
To be fair, though, we actually do a pretty good job of having women on our show. I think about 65% of the time that we have a guest, it's a woman. And maybe even more. In our reality TV show episodes are almost 90% women as guests. So we do a pretty good job.
Well, I think women are just maybe more open to doing this kind of stuff. Like just kind of jumping back into the show. But like, so basically, I'm just gonna get started talking about my lore.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You know, I like agreed to be on the show. And then after I signed my contract, there was a while where it seemed like I wasn't going to be on it because Yasmin couldn't find me anyone. And I was like, of course.
No one good enough for you.
You know, what?
There was no one good enough for you.
Not that. I was like, of course, just my luck that now I'm going on a national television show and they still can't find me somebody. Like, I'm just a lost cause. I'm a lost cause. Then eventually she, you know, matched me with the person. But she was just saying how they have so many more women that want to be on the show than men. And I think, I don't know, men. Which is interesting because I feel like in other settings, men aren't afraid to speak up. Why is it that, I don't know, in the public eye, maybe they get a little bit more nervous? I don't know.
It's because they would get called out on all their toxic traits.
Yeah.
True. Which
Makes sense.
some of the men clearly lack the self-awareness to know that they're toxic enough that they were going to get called out, and they thought it was a good idea for them to go on TV.
Ooh. So, what do we want to talk about?
Don't stop this.
Was that too spicy?
No, keep going. Keep going.
Okay, it's Ramadan, so I'm not gossiping.
It's after iftar.
Yes, but I also feel like generally, if you just don't say a name, then is it really gossip?
It is.
You know, if you don't violate HIPAA, it's like not gossip. You know what I mean? Like there's no identifiable information. Could be anybody.
Yeah. I mean, also, if you're providing a public service that warns people of any type of danger, that is also not considered backbiting. So
yes. Oh man, yeah.
How was your experience of that date?
So I knew nothing about him going in except for the fact that he's a Pakistani man with a pulse, which, I mean, that's how low the bar is. So I was like, cool, sign me up. And can I just say, I practiced my face in the mirror for like when I was going to see him for the first time. So like, just in case I'm disappointed, I don't want to be like, oh. So I practiced in the mirror before the date. I was like, when I see him, I'm going to be like, oh, nice, cool. Maybe give him a little thumbs up when we see each other for the first time. But no, he was very nervous when the
What are you, a Facebook post? Just giving him the thumbs up.
Thumbs up. Yeah, you know, millennial. What can you do? He was really nervous at first, and I was nervous too. It's always when that camera is in front of you, like that black box of the camera, it's like so terrifying. And on the date, there were like 4 cameras, different angles. So it is nerve-wracking, but I think I'm just a little bit more comfortable because I do stand up. I'm used to being on stage. I'm used to making a fool out of myself. So I'm like, whatever. But he was nervous, so I really did try to just like calm him down and keep like a very like calm, even keel energy, so that way it could like bring down his anxiety a little bit. And our date was like 4 to 5 hours long. Like we filmed for a very long time, and I think at some point, like once we passed the 2-hour mark, I think we were both just like a little bit delusional because we were just tired from like talking to each other, and we had exhausted all of these topics. And by then he loosened up a little bit, and it was fine. And then we, after like off camera, talked for a little bit. And you know, he was like normal then. I think, yeah, nerves on camera. I don't blame him.
I mean, it happens to everybody. Like my leg was shaking like a mile a minute, even though it wasn't for the whole time, but they definitely made sure they got it.
Yeah.
You showed it.
The camera did get a little too close to some other areas, which I was not very happy about. But yes, they did film that. But
They should have zoomed in more.
No, they should not have. But I do think that, things seem to be going well on that date. I feel like you were doing most of the heavy lifting. He seemed very, very nervous. And it was an awkward date, but they were all awkward. But was it awkward as it was shown? Because all my dates were not as awkward as they made it out to be. And I wanted to give you guys a benefit of the doubt and say yours probably wasn't that awkward either. Or was it?
It was. The beginning of it was maybe like the first 15, 20 minutes. And then I think slowly it became less awkward. They just didn't show that part. But the beginning of it, yeah, it was awkward.
Got it. Okay. And so the big thing in your storyline was that he was on dating apps while you guys were on this thing. Now, when I went on there, they told me that you got to really put in like the effort into this. You can't you have to give the 3 months. You got to do the 3 dates. You got to do the 300 questions. They're like, you have to be bought in. And it seems like if, even though there may not have been, verbally an agreement to not see other people and not date other people, I feel like if you're giving this truly a shot and you're really, trying to make it work, you probably should not be doing that. But you kind of like saved him a little bit. You didn't make him look bad. You were like, hey, you gave him a bit of grace. I don't know if you want to talk about that a little bit.
I think so. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's common sense. If you're like dating someone seriously, then why are you still looking? But if you feel like you still want to look, it was one date, that's fine. I just think honestly, I think it's common sense. You know what I mean? Like, you signed up for this thing. You signed up for, it's basically like a project where we're supposed to be talking to each other for 3 months. Just hold off for 3 months, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, no one's really going anywhere. I don't know. I don't understand what went through his head while he was doing it, but I did we promised each other when we first started filming that we weren't gonna like create drama for no reason or stir the pot, and I gave him my word that like if there were any weird situations, I would try my best to stand up for him, and that was just me keeping my word, to kind of maybe not react too strongly to the situation. How I found out was 2 separate friends, and they are the ones that were in the show, funnily enough. 2 of my friends saw him on the dating apps. Like, of course, we all the girlies do this. You see someone that someone's talking to, someone's ex, someone's brother, someone's uncle on the dating apps. You record the profile, you send it over. You're like, girl, uncle? Yeah, of course. Like a young, your young uncle, old uncle. These streets are wild. And so they sent it to me, and I was shocked, I think, more than anything, because it was just not something I was expecting. I don't remember how long we had been talking when it happened, but I'm sure it was maybe a couple weeks in, and we were speaking pretty regularly. We were either talking on the phone or on FaceTime a couple times a week. So by then, even though we hadn't seen each other in person again since the first date, I felt like there was like some sort of a connection, and I think for me, I wasn't really sure whether it was more platonic, because, it was someone that I did enjoy talking to, and I feel like maybe I connected on maybe like an intellectual level, but I don't know that chemistry was necessarily there in person, and I never really found out because, again, we just went on the one date. And so I was shocked. Was I upset? No, but I think it's because I just didn't really have strong enough feelings for him. So I was like, if he wants to, let him. I mean, sure. If you find someone he likes more, by all means, go ahead. Who am I to stop you? You can't ever force anyone to want to be with you. That just, it's there or it's not.
Facts. Yeah. Someone said it on our show, I think a few weeks ago. If, someone wants to leave, your best thing to do is to let them. Right.
Yeah.
So fair. I agree with that. The dating app thing is a little scary for me because like I've seen people on dating apps and then I screenshot it and send it to them and they're like, what the hell? I don't have an account. I don't have a thing where I close my account. And sometimes like they're still up on account. If you don't exit out of them properly or like delete them properly, like your pictures and stuff are still out there. So like sometimes like I worry about that, or somebody seeing that I'm on the show and like go to my Instagram and then try to pretend to be me, and like, so like for the record, I'm not on any apps. If you see me on any apps, please report them and please send the screenshot to me so I can report them, because that's actually a scary thing that I've been thinking about. I was like, now that I'm on this like show, like someone can just take a picture of you and just go on these apps now and pretend to be you, and that's kind of scary to me.
And so honestly, both of those things have happened to me before, like even before the show was a thing.
What?
Where one time I like was dating someone, we broke up for a little bit, so we got on the apps, and then I got like just like the ick from the apps like within a week, and I deleted them off my phone. I just didn't remember that you have to like delete the account too, because I just like I think like one night in the middle, and I was like, oh gross, and I'm just deleting the app. And then that profile was still out there for I don't know how long, even though I wasn't using it. So that was embarrassing. And then one time there was someone who like tried to DM me, and at first they were like, oh, they also a comedian, so they were talking to me about doing shows together. So I thought it was very much like in that capacity, a professional thing. And they asked me out, and I wasn't interested. And then a few days later, there's like this dating app like circulating around of me with pictures from my Instagram. And yeah, I still, it's not confirmed. I feel like it was that person just given the timeline of everything, but yeah, it's scary. It's scary. And sometimes honestly, even when it comes to dating apps, like I'll just go on there. Like if like friends have asked me multiple times, like, hey, can you just like log in and see if like my boyfriend's on there? Can you log in and see if like my ex is on there? Stuff like that. So it's tricky.
How did things end with you, like the way it did on the show, or did you guys try to talk a little bit afterwards, or what happened?
So we were planning on going on our second date, which was like months after our first date. And part of it got delayed because like, I'm sure you like Neebs, you went through the same thing where the camera crew wants to be there to film the date. And then part of it was also just like our scheduling. I feel like quite honestly, he didn't really make that much of an effort to come to New York to see me. And then when he was coming to New York, it was for some like conference or something. He's like, oh, I'm going to be in town. We'll hang out. And then, so I was like, okay, cool. And I was looking forward to it because I was like, I've only met this person once. I still don't know how I feel about him. So it'd be nice to just like see each other in person again, see if there's any sort of vibe, any sort of chemistry. And then the day before he came, he called me and he's like, hey, I prayed istihara. I got a bad vibe. So I think we should break up. And again, I was like, okay. Like, if you're telling me Allah doesn't want us to be together, who am I to disagree with that? You know what I mean? Like, who am I to interfere or disagree with divine intervention? Like, okay, like, my brother in Islam, be free. Go.
Yeah.
That's not even what istikara is, like, exactly. Like, I hate when people use that excuse.
I know. I feel like so many people I know have gotten broken up with that way. They got istihara'd, as I said on the show, because I don't know, maybe it's like a way, I don't know. I'm not going to blame, I'm not going to cast, well, I don't want to cast doubt on anyone's prayer and if they, you know, get some sort of a gut feeling, but, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Latter note, the show kind of ends in a way where they're going to set you up with somebody else, and it was like a doctor or somebody else that was like, you know, really cool. So it kind of like left your story hanging as if like, all right, we're gonna give it another try and this one's gonna be the right one. Did that happen, or what happened with that?
I mean, it happened in the sense that Yasmin then put me in touch with someone else and we texted for a little bit, but then he ghosted me before we even met. So
what?
Wow.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because then Yasmin's like, how's it going? And I'm like, I think he ghosted me. So then Yasmin had to text him and be like, hey, why'd you ghost Bucky? And I don't know what their I think he was like, you know, she's not my type, whatever, which is fair. But like, you can't ghost someone when you met through a matchmaker, right? Like, there's a third party involved. I'm gonna ask. Like, it's like if your mom sets you up with someone, you can't ghost them. You got to be like, hey, you know, like, otherwise then your mom's gonna yell at you. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah, that's so true. Like the point of having a matchmaking service is so you don't have to go through ghosting and stuff like that. There's an intermediate. If you don't want to hurt somebody's feeling, just talk to the matchmaker, and they will filter what's important to get to you and what isn't. And I think that's fair. I think that's a big benefit to using matchmakers, and to just go with somebody like that. It's like, okay, what are you doing, bro?
At least I mean, I don't know. To me, if someone wants to set me up with someone, I figure there's a reason why, and I'm at least gonna like give it a chance first. You know what I mean? Like, you're totally free to say no, but like, just give it a chance first, because there was some thought put into this.
True. Speaking of which, what's the situation right now? Are your DMs open? What's going on?
You don't have to answer that unless you're comfortable with answering that.
I'm trying to get Bucky like hooked up, man.
I know we are, man. But...
Yeah.
You know why? So people can stop asking me and Bucky to get together, because that's people are like, yo, your personality is so... I think the show kind of did this thing where they edited it, and they had you talking about a new man, and then they flip right next to me in the next scene to imply that it was me. And I think that brainwashed a lot of people to thinking, oh, we were supposed to be. But like, to be fair, like, you know, we're maybe too similar to be set up.
Yeah,
I don't like myself that much to be set up with someone just like me.
Same. Someone needs to balance me out. But no, we're gonna address the rumors. Unib and I are just friends, guys. He's like a brother to me. I think it's because we've been making TikToks together too. It's funny because sometimes I'll have an idea for a TikTok and I'll go online and I'll see Unib literally made it that day. And I was like, damn it, like, he kept beating me to the punch. I was like, someone marry this man so he stops putting out content so I can put out the content no one thinks. And
oh yeah, right.
He just beats me to it every time. Oh gosh. But no, I am single. All
right. Has there been a lot of people in your DMs after the show, or has it been just like creeps, or like have there been what?
I mean, yeah, it's been the whole gamut, the whole spectrum. Creeps for sure, but any girl's gonna have that. It's been like a lot of girls being like, "Hey, I think you would be great for like my brother, my cousin, my friend.
Yeah.
Can I give you his info?" And I feel like those routes are a little bit more like trustworthy if there's like someone in the middle who's kind of like vetted them.
Yeah.
I haven't really like pursued any of it yet because it's like Ramadan. I was like, I'm just gonna hold off until after.
Sure.
But if anybody knows anybody, you know a guy, you got a brother, you got a cousin, you got a young uncle with a full head of hair, like the girl's looking.
Your young uncle. That's
nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll get on that. We will get on that, guys. That's our mission for this one. I remember
my one thing is, and I'm sorry if this comes off as shallow, and I don't want to be shallow, but I'm a tall girl. I'm 5'8".
You
so
are
if
tall.
You're gonna send someone to me, please make them 5'10" plus. I'm sorry. I've tried dating shorter guys. I've tried dating guys my height. I just can't do it. Then I don't want to be the big spoon my whole life, you know?
Oh my god.
I respect it. Honestly, I respect it.
I respect it more from somebody who is actually tall than someone who's like 5'2" and just trying to like get rid of the short gene in their family and just playing daisy eugenics.
Exactly. I want to preserve my tall genes, you know? Who knows? I could birth the first Pakistani NBA player. Who knows? Inshallah.
Inshallah. All right, guys. Someone who's taller than Bucky, and let us know. We'll vet you. Me and Jazz will vet them, so that we make sure.
That reminds me of your next business venture, which I feel like you should share with the audience because I'm a big fan of the concept.
We've talked about it. Rista Bros, man. Rista services by dudes, because who knows F-boys better than other dudes, right?
So
like,
true.
Who's in the locker room with them? It's us. Who that Gava house with them when they started going red pill? Is us. We see it all. We take a note.
Red pill? What does that mean?
So red pill is
toxic.
like
yeah,
like the Andrew Tate
like
bros.
Alice in Wonderland? Oh, Andrew Tate.
Yeah.
Gross.
Those kind of bros.
Yeah, because girls, we really live in our own world, and especially me, this is one of my problems. I always think that I can like fix them, or if there are glaring red flags, I come up with like some sort of I'll make excuses for people, I think, because I just want to believe in the best in them. And sometimes I don't see through the bullshit because of that, but my guy friends will see through it. And like there have been instances even recently where I was like with someone and it didn't work out, and then afterwards my guy friends were like, yeah, I don't even know why you were dating him in the first place. He had XYZ red flags. I was like, why did you not tell me like sooner? Why are you telling me now? You could have saved me like months of heartache, you know?
This could have been brought to my attention yesterday.
Yeah,
Wedding
exactly.
Planner. I don't know if anyone's seen that movie.
Wedding Planner? The one with
Adam
J-Lo?
Sandler. No, Adam Sandler.
Adam Sandler.
The
Yeah.
Wedding
Oh,
Singer. The Wedding Singer.
The
That's
Wedding
right.
Singer. I was gonna say the Wedding Planner I think is J-Lo.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I mixed them up.
Yeah, see? Movie.
Yeah, we should definitely make her the third one.
Yeah. We may have to pay for you to get faster internet, but other than that,
Making me the third one, speaking of making me the third one, that has been the best DM that I've gotten, was from a white woman who said, hey, I'm married to a Pakistani guy and he's really great. He's a chef. I think it would be really awesome if you became his second wife. He could cook for us all the time. And I'm not gonna lie, like, is it the worst gig in the world? No. They already have a kid, so like, you know, I can just like play with that one, and when I'm ready I can have my own. Anyway, yeah, so maybe
Bucky's like, I've considered it.
You have just opened up a can of worms when this goes live, because a lot of married guys are gonna DM you now.
I think we should edit this out.
that was a joke. I'm gonna on the record. I'm looking to just be first wife only.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
low key, this is like a running joke of mine. I feel like, okay, if you had to pick which number wife is the least amount of work, which one do you think it is?
Oh, probably number
Wife number 3.
No, number 2.
Yeah, number 3.
I would say 2.
Really?
Because
no. The second is the hardest.
I agree.
Oh, fair. You're right.
You know, because like,
Don't ask me how I know this.
I just feel like you would move from 2 to 3 real quick.
How do you know this?
Let's talk about your parents a little bit. Let's talk about how they were on TV, America's
They were awesome.
Sweethearts. They were so great. I really liked seeing them on TV, and it was really cool to see like really cool parents that are not like super strict and they want the best for you and they're working so hard for you. It was really sweet to see them. Your family was awesome. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, for me, that was my favorite part of the show, and honestly, just like such a core memory for all of us. I remember after when we were done filming and we were driving home, I said to my dad, Papa, you know, when you came to this country, like, you probably didn't think your daughter was going to become a doctor, but you definitely didn't think she was going to be a reality TV star. You know what I mean? And I don't think he really understood what the show was. I think he thought it was like a documentary about Muslims, which, like, I mean, kind of
is.
Kind of.
All right. Yeah, one of the things that I thought was really funny was when your mom was asked what are the things that she likes best about your dad, and she just said that she just likes that he's big.
He's turning red.
You are so red right now. That's so funny. Like a tomato.
That was the most, and like when she said that, like my girl just, you know, the camera turned on and the truth came out. Okay, the truth came out. When she said that, I was just cracking up. The entire like production team was cracking up. My dad looked mortified. That was crazy. And she's so proud of herself too. She was like, so many people thought that was so funny. I was like, yeah, you're accurate. I mean, yeah, it was very funny. Now you guys know which parent I get my sense of humor from.
Yeah. That was
because if you look at her, she's like a cool little, you know, she's a little auntie, she's a little potato. That's not what anyone was expecting her to say. Anyone.
Honestly, it was great. Like, I think it's okay to show that as Muslims and as adults who are happily married. Like, we do need more of that representation, as weird as it might be. Not for you, Bucky.
I don't want to think about it. Nope. Nope.
all I'm gonna say, it was both the funniest and most wholesome part of the entire
Correct,
show,
yeah.
and I feel like your parents definitely steal the show, and I really, really enjoyed them, and I'm really glad that you convinced them to go on because it was probably my favorite part.
Yeah.
Agreed.
No, it was
Even though you're
fun.
my
It was
podcast co-host, I will say her parents were way more important.
Yeah.
you should ask my mom to be your third podcast co-host.
That's what we should
that-
do.
Yo, we should do a whole podcast in Urdu with her. It'll be amazing.
That
Yeah.
I will need Google Translate, but yeah. I know Urdu really well. I'm fluent, but my vocabulary is not so acha.
Cha, really?
My vocabulary is zabardast.
Oh,
Ooh.
very good. That's just an accent. That's not even it. Never mind.
Or you look more biblical.
Yeah. So tell us how you're a doctor, dermatologist, and also a comedian. How did that happen?
When I was in med school, I went to a stand-up show where all of the comics were Muslim, and I had never seen like Muslim comics like before, except for people like Aziz Ansari, Hassan Minaj, like the big ones that seemed just like so far out of reach. And these seemed just like, I don't want to say like normal people, but they were like very relatable. And that was the first time I was like, wow, Muslims can be funny. Like Muslims can be comedians. Like some of the women were hijabis and they're like on stage just like very unfiltered. And I was like, wow, that's like very empowering. So after the show, I actually talked to one of the comics and I was like, look, I like making people laugh. Like, I've just kind of like always been the clown in the friend group. But again, I think it's because I was a chubby kid. I needed to develop a personality so people liked me.
Oh, me too. Those are
Yeah,
chubby. We are
right.
eerily similar. It's creepy.
It is creepy. It is creepy. We're honestly, we're probably
Damn.
cousins. We're probably cousins. And so, yeah.
That wouldn't stop Pakistanis.
No, if anything, it's a plus. If anything, it would be a plus. Topic for another time. Yeah. So then I asked like one of the comics after. I was like thinking about getting started. So he told me like, there's this place that does open mics that's really fun, that you should check out. So I wrote a bunch of stuff like. Just like the stories that I would tell like at dinner parties, like cocktail parties, just like make people laugh. And I went down to the comedy club. I didn't tell anyone I know I was doing it because I was like, if I bomb, I take the secret to my grave. Like no one needs to know. And that's the beauty of in a city as big as New York is that there's this like level of anonymity built into it. You can go make a fool out of yourself and chances are you'll never see those people again. So I did, and it went a lot better than I thought it would. And you just get such a rush. Like when you're on stage and you tell a punchline and it lands and everyone's laughing and you're like, wow, like I did that. And it's like, we live in such a crazy, chaotic, like dark timeline right now that like just being able to help people forget about that for a little bit is such a blessing. So to anyone who's ever thought about doing stand-up and been scared to, just do it. And chances are, if you just pick your audience properly, because if you're doing stand-up for just like a regular audience, it's a bunch of drunk white people, they'll laugh at most things. If you're doing stand-up for a room full of sober Muslims, that's a tough crowd. I'm just letting you know that now. That's a tough crowd that is not for the faint of heart.
Ooh, that is expert mode. I get that. I always wanted to do it because like a long time ago, I had matched with a comedian, and I was like, and like we matched, we talked for like a minute, but like nothing really came of it. And then I met her, and she pretended like she didn't know me. And so from that day on, I'm like, you know what? I want to be a comedian and be just slightly better than her.
Yeah,
I'm so petty.
Pettiness will get you far in life, my friend. Pettiness.
I'm
will get
so
you very-
petty. I was like, you know what, man? I just want to do one show and get more laughs than her. I want to be on the same card as her and get more laughs, and that'll make me feel better.
Channeling your inner Kendrick, there, aren't you?
I know. I'm like,
Oh, yeah?
she pretended like she didn't know me. I was like, well, what do you mean you don't know me? All right, whatever. Okay, one of the things that people talked about, and it's probably the last thing I'm going to talk about before we wrap it up. People talked a lot about how you had a hard time finding somebody because people like you, but then they find out stuff about your family, and that's something that isn't appealing to them. Now, a lot of people don't know what you meant by that. Is it classism? Is it caste? Like, what exactly is it that makes people, apprehensive about your parents for some reason? because they're amazing people. There's no
they
reason for them to.
They're lovely. They're lovely humans, and I'd like to think raised two really good daughters that are good people, and my little sister's in med school too, and we're just trying to do good things in the world. It is just a matter of classism. I really only encountered this situation more in the arranged marriage kind of circles where like the rishta aunties will even tell my mom like, hey, don't actually tell them that your husband's a taxi driver. Say that he does X, Y, and Z instead. And I'm like, why lie? Like, why would you start off on a lie? Because one, like, it's gonna come out eventually. Like, you can't hide. And two, if that's the reason that somebody thinks that we are inferior or we are less than, then like I don't want to be part of that kind of a family anyway. That's not the family that's not the values I want to raise my kids with. Where at the end of the day, I don't think anybody's beneath anybody, anybody's better than anybody. We were all just dealt different cards in life, dealt different hands. Like I'm sure there's 1,000 little girls in Pakistan who are much smarter than I am, that are much better doctors than I could ever be, but they just were never given the chance. And my parents, they were able to get out and bring me here, and I was able to get an education. But really it comes down to that, where people will like me, but they'll be like, well, we just want someone from a more educated family, or we want someone from a more respectable family, things like that. When I mean, at the end of the day, they're nice people, they have their own cute little home out in Long Island, and they're living a nice little life. And I think whoever I marry will be lucky in the sense that they're just like really chill and loving people. And my mom's so fun, my dad cooks well. My dad's the cook in the family. No one makes pakore as well as my dad. Like,
challenge accepted.
Hands down. Oh yeah, okay, next.
Let's go.
So an episode with my mom in Urdu, an episode that's Iron Chef's pakora version.
Yeah, it's a pakora off.
My dad, Korov. Ooh, that's a good one.
But yeah, I totally agree with you. The thing that you said about it being more in the arranged marriage arena than in IRL, right? Because I've experienced that a lot too. Like I've met girls on apps or in real life, and they don't seem like I have a degree in electrical engineering, which is a really difficult degree to get. And like I'm not bragging, but it's one of the hardest. But it's not an MBA. And the Rishta aunties are like, oh, if he doesn't have an MBA, he's not good enough. Right?
What?
And yeah, all the time. It could be an MBA in like health science. It could be an MBA in anything.
Online MBA.
Yeah, it could be from like the University of Phoenix, right? It doesn't matter.
Phoenix.
Are they still around even? I thought
Trump University.
Yeah. Right? It doesn't matter. Bro could have an MBA from DeVry. It doesn't matter what it is, right? It's like no disrespect to DeVry, but like it doesn't matter what it's in. It's just those 3 letters that matter. And like, it doesn't matter if you're a master, it doesn't matter if you're a bachelor's, it doesn't matter if it's electrical engineering, which is like, like they can't do differential equations. Like, what are you talking about?
That's the second hardest engineering out there.
Yeah, right. And that's because everybody hates organic chemistry. So,
right.
But the thing is, like, I got that same thing. It was like he doesn't have an MBA. It's not good enough, and I get that. But like, people are empowered to have these weird ass requests when it's in that circle, but you don't see it outside of that circle. So that's really interesting that you brought that up. It's a pretty good conversation.
I think it comes from our parents' generation a little bit more than it comes from ours, and I think it all goes back to the log kya kahenge. You know what I mean? Like हम जब लोग I'm gonna speak in Urdu now. Like जब लोग पूछेंगे कि लड़का क्या करता हम क्या बताएंगे? You know what I mean? Or things like that. Like, what are we going to tell people? Like, what's his education? And I think a lot of it also just comes from a place of not knowing enough about how things work here, and how, like, yeah, you can have an MBA, but does that really mean that much? Like, it depends on what you do with it. Like anything else in life, it's what you do with it that matters.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, let me tell you this. As of today, Harvard's newest graduating class, 30% of their MBAs cannot find jobs.
Yeah. Look at me. Had a job for 18 years.
Nice.
But you're not an MBA, Neebs.
But I don't have an MBA.
You're not an unemployed MBA, Neebs.
They rather an unemployed MBA than someone who built the World Trade Center. Hey, it is what it is. So All right. Well, listen, Bucky, thank you so much for being on the show. We really enjoyed talking to you. We're really serious about you coming on as a permanent member of our podcast. Let's hook you up with a professional microphone and some internet, and then we're ready to go. Let us know. Let us
Actually,
know.
Internet.
Neebs, tell her the story of how we started our podcast. Like, what was the timeline of this? Like, how we got started.
We were well, somebody added us in a group chat, and we just started talking, and we realized we like the same shows, and it was during COVID, and we were like, "We
Oh.
want to start a podcast?" And he was like, "Yeah, I
Yeah.
want to start a podcast." Like, okay.
And then a week later, we have a podcast.
And a week later, we had a podcast. That was it.
That's how
Wow.
quickly we made our decision. So, like,
And you
We
stuck
d-
with it.
We stuck
Yeah.
with it.
That's
That's the
3 years
thing.
later.
I'm a loyal person. I've stuck to this podcast. I've had the same job for 18 years. So if you marry me, I'm a lifer. I'm not going anywhere.
Are you single, Neebs?
I am not single. I'm talking to who my partner is, in case they ever listen to this show.
Aw.
Yeah.
Are we invited to the wedding?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll see. We'll do a live podcast from the wedding.
Deal.
I'll do live commentary the whole time. It'll be Bucky
Live.
and I. We'll have like our mics out there.
Imagine me just setting up like an iPhone and just putting it on live, and then you guys are just under commentary, just commenting the whole
Their
time.
little microphones, and here comes the groom walking in at 2 hours.
Why
Oh,
is
we
he?
gotta do it cricket
Yeah.
style, like.
Mhm.
It's like, why is he coming out to the music of the WWE wrestler Roman Reigns? Like,
Please
I'm
tell me
gonna
you're not
judge you.
actually planning on doing that.
I am not, but I do love those. I think they're so funny.
Okay,
I would
Neebs.
never do it.
I will tell you one thing. My boy Hamza, he's been on the
Yeah.
podcast before.
Yeah.
He walked in to WWE music at his wedding in Nashville.
Yeah, my brother too.
And we all had the giant belts, like.
It's
Oh,
so
yeah.
cringe. It's so cringe. But hey, if you guys are into it, I'm happy for you. My partner would never allow that.
Maybe ask her opinion before you commit to anything.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not trying to fumble the bag.
No. Secure it
Like all the
first.
idiot guys
Secure it.
talking to you.
Yeah. But all right, Bucky, thank you so much for being on the show. We love you. We wish the best for you, and we would love to have you back. Anything you want to say before you go? Where can people find you? Where can they support you? Where can they come to your shows? Give them all that stuff.
Find me on Instagram. It's Buckstagram. You can find me on TikTok. It's Buck Talk. I put my stand-up shows on hold for a little bit because of residency and exams, but we're getting back to it. So if you're in the New York area, I'll be performing in Queens and in Brooklyn, maybe a couple shows in the city here and there. A lot of it's to come post-Ramadan, post-Eid, inshallah. So yeah, a lot of exciting things to come. So just like, follow, subscribe, guys.
All right. Thank you so much. And until next time, guys, Salaam, nerds.
Peace.